My final exam. The skill that I expected to gain most from this class was to learn how to give a clear and confident speech or presentation. Two terms or concepts that I will apply to my interpersonal communication interactions in the future are listening fidelity, which is the degree of congruence between what a listener understands and what the speaker was attempting to communicate, on page 127. I can accomplish this by better ordering my topics to give a better understanding of what I'm trying to convey. Also, conversational narcissists, which is when people focus on themselves and their interests rather than listening and encouraging others, on page 133. I usually have good intentions of encouraging others, but I sometimes find myself pushing my own conversational agenda. I believe the persuasive speech was my strongest presentation. Qualities that made it stronger were I was actually interested in the topic, which enabled me to discuss a topic on a personal level. It had a better flow with actual transitions between each point, and each main point had a good connection to the topic and thesis. I think Justin's strongest presentation was his interview speech. Qualities that made it strong were it had a clear purpose with a strong narrative to the topic. The creative use of the slideshow gave a sense of audience participation and kept the listeners engaged. And it was well organized with a good flow and transition between main points. The organization pattern that I used to organize my interview speech was topic pattern. As I was trying to share facts about the interviewee, I discovered that using the topical pattern was the better suited style in arranging my main points into three solid topical types: a painter, an artist, and a preacher. The method of informing that I used in my informative speech was the explanation method, where the purpose of the speech is to clarify an idea or concept already known but not understood by the audience. Specific techniques that I used during my speech were I defined a specific informative purpose to show that music can often be used as treatment for depression. I created information hunger by discussing a remedy for depression, which can be considered a social need. I used familiar information to increase understanding by representing album covers of 6 of the most well-known musical artists. And number 4, I use a clear organizational structure as outlined in chapter 13. The technique that I used to actuate my persuasive speech was by desired outcome on page 380. It is a technique that aims at changing the audience members' beliefs, values, or attitudes. My public speaking skills have improved over the course of this term by not using emotive language or language that conveys an attitude rather than simply offering an objective description on page 113. Also, managing by stress through means of facilitative communication and apprehension by understanding that a moderate level of anxiety of speaking before an audience can often help improve the speaker's performance, and that's found on page 307. And also, by not using auditory aspects of delivery, such as addition, which is the articulation error that involves adding extra words to parts of words like and or right. That's on page 314. Some of the strengths that my instructor wrote were good narrative connection, good eye contact, and good voice projection. The strengths my classmates wrote that I consistently had were interesting topics, good voice projection, and good eye contact. The themes in my areas for improvement from the instructor were better flow, or a need for better flow and transition between sections. Also, spreading my eyes around, or spreading eye contact to the entire audience, and using too much or during my speech, and also too much use of notes. I think overall I improved on all those areas during my persuasive speech. I think I could have made my performances better by making the speech more personal, or by choosing topics that I am actually interested in. I felt my persuasive speech showed this, and since I was more, or I felt it showed it since I was more involved in the topic. And lastly, my personal professional goals for the future is to be able to convey an idea in a clear and concise manner. And I can imagine one day as an IT director where I'll have to give a presentation to a board of directors to convince them on the importance of allocating more company funds in the IT department. The heuristic value of what I've learned in this class is to take time to properly organize the main ideas of any speech, and to consider the overall purpose of the speech with the goal to ensure a clear and concise understanding of the idea that I'm trying to convey. Thank you.